The fact that Elon's talking about open sourcing the algorithm is pretty crazy, in my opinion. And like, I think it's not going to be good for making money at Twitter short or medium term. But it could be a rebirth of Twitter. And the thing that I think Twitter is still missing is it needs to adopt Web3 and crypto. And if you're going to ask me, like, how would you make Twitter better? I would say number one thing is let people own their profiles. So like if people can own their digital content, right, and then they could take them and plug them in other places, then Twitter would be better because it would have a whole bunch of competing Twitters out there that would keep Twitter in check and prevent them from making bad decisions. And so, if we had like a crypto version of Twitter, I was joking about this, but you could fork it, right? And then you could have your, code is law Twitter. You could have your Twitter Classic where free speech is absolute, like we have Ethereum Classic, and you could fork it. And people would be able to move their profiles over there and experience that. I don't know if Elon's going to go that radical, but I will say that the first couple of things that he's mentioned to take a look at, which is tackling the bots. I mean, we just need to do that. It's bad for humanity to have those things on there just publishing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then trying to open source this algorithm, I think that's a good idea so people can be aware of at least of what's happening. I think these are good first starts, and I will leave it open. Elon has been very successful, so maybe he'll fix Twitter. So I don't think he's going to do it without crypto, though.
Yeah, and this is probably a good transition to talking more about crypto solutions to identity and also and reputation, and touch on a little bit of how we're thinking about that kind of stuff at Unstoppable Domains. So I think it'd be pretty cool if you could share how you first started working on crypto reviews and how that led you to like working on naming systems and really like your position on identity today.
Yeah. So when I first got started in crypto, I was actually working on Bitcoin because everyone was at the time. That was the only thing out really. And we were looking at ways to verify people's reviews that they had online. So for instance, Yelp was a big thing back in 2013. And you wanted to have some way to prove that someone had actually shopped at that store if they're going to leave a review about it, because you didn't want someone to have a fake review. And so we worked on a project for that. And then maybe 6 months later, there was another project, and it was like Reddit for Bitcoin people. And one of the things that they were trying to do is build a reputation system on there. So it's like, I was like deja vu, right? Working on how to build a reputation system for this one. And then it just turned out like every single crypto app, Bitcoin app back then that you would work on, people were like, oh, it'd be great if we had some sort of like little reputation system we could plug in. And just as a builder, you realize like, oh, if you're making the same thing multiple times in a row on all these different places, it would be great if we could abstract that out and then have a generalized solution for reputation across apps. So I went around and started hunting for generalized solution for reputation across apps, and I realized, and I think a lot of other people have realized this too, and we need to say it louder, which is if you have some form of digital identity where you can take you with you as you go along different apps, then you can build a reputation across all the apps, and the user can maintain it, and they can own it, and they can benefit from it. And then the apps will have a consistent ID system for their users that will help fight these things around spam and misinformation, and people pretending to be 1,000 people when they're only one person. So that's how I kind of ended up coming on cross-app reputation. And of course, we think NFT domains are a natural solution for this, and we actually view NFT domains as a really great way of assigning people a static, consistent digital identity across apps.
Do you think that everyone is really going to have an NFT domain eventually, or some kind of identity that they own? And if everybody is owning an identity, is the only version of that NFT domains?
So I certainly believe that, and there's obviously lots of different ways that we could end up with a digital reputation system online. I just happen to think that naming systems are really well built to handle this. And the reason why I believe that is if you look historically, we all use domain names right now, and those are reputation systems mostly for businesses, like small businesses. And NFT domains are really that same type of system for being able to look somebody up. Like you look up a business online right now, you type in their web address. Well, in the future, you'll be able to look a person up by typing in their NFT domain and find information about them. And NFT domains are really designed for consumers, whereas regular domains are designed for businesses. And there's a huge amount of technology changes between domains, that were DNS was 1996, I think, and then NFT domains, which is 2022. And all of that is around, the private public key pairs, the public nature of blockchains, being able to verify data as third parties, accessing and permissioning that data. All of that comes through users having control of their NFT domain in their wallet with a crypto, it's a native crypto asset. So you can sign things and verify things without having to interact with like a centralized service like ICANN's DNS system. So there's huge improvements here. But yeah, I think so. And I think naming systems are a really interesting and good spot to build reputation systems online. And I think that they have all the advantages to win. And we'll see that play out over the next decade.
Yeah. One question I have about reputation is, you've seen that Black Mirror episode where people are just walking around like rating people that they interact with on their day-to-day life. That's not how you see this playing out, right? It's reputation systems are going to be tracked differently than just anyone being able to downvote you, right?
Correct. And I think that, so it's hard to predict what are going to be the second and third order effects. But I think the way that people are going to build reputation systems to start with is going to be the personal information and data that they want to store and that they want to share. So you're really going to build it up as a personal utility for yourself. And then as you build it up as a personal utility for yourself, you're going to be able to permission information access from other applications in order to build better user experiences. So that's a lot of words. What I'm trying to say is, you're going to build up a digital ID because it's going to be great for you to have one place where you store your data and your information, and then you can portably use that thing across applications like an SSO, so you don't have to keep track of 5,000 different passwords. And then when you log into all these apps, they're going to be asking you for data, and they say, hey, do you mind sharing this piece of data with me, or this piece of data, or this piece of data? And you'll choose to share that data with them because they'll be able to make a better app. As an example, if you're shopping online, maybe you share your clothing sizes, right? So you can save time, and they'll only show you what you need to see. And if we take it one step further, like how these systems are going to evolve, assuming that privacy technology continues to improve, you'll even be able to share this data with other apps that you interact with, and you'll have guarantees around them deleting that information after they interact with you, which would be super useful for users. So it will be possible for you to personally keep information about other people you interact with. If you're like, oh yeah, I interacted with Josh, I didn't like him, and you could write that down on your own personal data store. But that doesn't necessarily mean that information will be shared so everyone else can see your rating of Josh. I'm sure there will be apps that do that. Black Mirror is definitely very thoughtful about their views of the future. Some of that stuff is not super great, but I think overall it'll mostly be an improvement for your own personal utility, and then hopefully it will help us with some of these social problems that we have. So there's a lot of angry people online right now that I think are upset because there's a lot of information that's being posted that is really low quality.
You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.